Just so everyone in town knows that. All right. So I just want to share my screen really quick. I want to show you some examples of high school students who did collages. And let's see if this will work. Oh, here we go. All right. So these are all high school students who have done collages in the way that you guys are working. They're not necessarily about the content or the concept of yours, but they will show you a lot of how to deal with the materials. So the first one here is done all with newspaper. So you can see that they use like the darker print for the background, and then they use the print to create the face and the hands, and it's probably a self-portrait. I know for a fact that they used a marker in these areas, like here, and to help with defining the drawing of the hands and the face. But you can see here, like just darker shades of newspaper were used to define the darker areas of the face. Another one that uses newspaper is this one. So this again is newspaper and drawing. So they laid down some newspaper and then drew these arms and hands on top of it. And then switch things out. Looks like there's other paper in here as well. And then used like a charcoal or dark pencil, and then also a white pencil to create the drawings. So here's one in case you just have cardboard, one that you would possibly, I mean, this is kind of fits, and I only put this in here in case people only had cardboard to work with. But part of what you could possibly portray is a favorite place. So you could kind of do that with cardboard, like they were fishing when the moon was out. There you go. This other one is just a bunch of torn paper that made a frame, and then you can put an image in here if you wanted to paint something. You could kind of do that. You could collage this all together and then have this kind of frame looking into whatever place or thing you would want to put into the center. Here's a collage about travel. So maybe some things left over from a trip, some postcards that look like, some maps, that kind of stuff. So this is all about a travel. So this is a fond memory, or maybe a hope that someday we'll get to wherever they've traveled to. So these two are done with magazines and newspaper. And this one is a pretty simple, straightforward one. It's about kind of like a self-portrait, I am, and you can put in words here that might describe you. The way they did it is kind of a center point, and then they made these rays. These rays come from magazine cutouts. So they're just organized by color, and then they put the words on top of that. This one is kind of what I was talking about when I talked about politics, is that this is a high school artist who did this about the pandemic. Obviously, all this newspaper things, all the headlines kind of talking about that. And then she's in this glass cube, obviously going to graduate from wherever, high school probably. And so this is painting on top of that. So, that whole isolating part of the pandemic. Another isolating image, but that's done with photographs. So this would be a photograph. These trees look like they're photographs. And then the rest is torn paper. So this almost looks like shopping bag paper. So there's, all this stuff going on randomly put, and, it looks a little isolating possibly. Here's one I think, I want to say that this is done on a computer. So if anybody's really savvy with working on computers, maybe in Photoshop, you can compile some images together Obviously, this is about the pandemic as well, because it talks about hospitals and 19 more people dead, and this this is New York City, so I think it's New York City. The blankness of the streets. I remember that last year when we were shut down, like just driving around, no one was out. It was kind of eerie. So she's got all these things together here and kind of talking about the pandemic. Another one, a quarantine pandemic. Little drawing of this guy in his bed. Looks like he's going to school. He's got his computer stuff going on. And then there's some stuff from the newspaper printed out. And then he's caged up there in his house. So there's a view from outside, and yet he's in a cage, can't kind of go out. And then this looks also by like kind of possibly done on the computer with the quarantine things in this kind of font. Another one I talked about, maybe memories or something that you're fond of. This looks like two people who were cut out of a photograph and then something was put behind it as part of the collage. And it looks like they're talking about, some of the words you could pick up are pastor, funeral, church, burial, died. So possibly these people have passed, and the way that person is memorializing them is cutting them out of this picture and putting this stuff, newspaper or book, a page of a book behind it. And then this one's not school appropriate, but about feminism. So just a bunch of images in regard to feminism. So there you go. So I hope this gives you some idea of how to go about doing it. I know some of you might be really well along trying to do that, but you are, hopefully that's working out for you. So I'm sorry to be into these polling thing, but I feel like it's giving me some information about where you guys all are. So I have a new question for your poll about materials. So I want to know if you are thinking about your materials. So I'm going to launch this poll. You got 2 minutes to kind of figure it out. I would love for you guys, there's 14 of you. Let's have 100%. So let me see what you are using. In addition, I don't know yet is a perfectly acceptable answer. Can't use that as your excuse. Okay, you guys should be working on your stuff, not on your phones. Amit, go do some art. Show me. You're not. Oh, he's not. Did he say he's done? Yeah. Did you say you were done? You're not done. Sorry. All right, I need one more person out there. Please, please, please. Who's not paying attention? It's too cold with water. That's pointless. No? Yellow's pointless. 15. Too much. All right, somebody out there's not playing. Let me see if I can guess who that might be. What is the point of that? Go get a paper towel. You need to dry that up. Go get a paper towel. It's too wet. All right, 100%. Woohoo! All right, I am going to share these results to see what your classmates are doing. So it looks like magazines win. That's good. I'm surprised because I didn't know that everybody would have magazines to work with. So that's kind of cool. Newspapers, drawings, photos, you mix a lot, you can mix things up. That's great. One person is brave enough to do fabric and 3 don't know. So those of you who don't know, if you want to talk about it with me, I would love that. So if you wanted to break out into a room, let me know.
Orange, yellow, or black without any water. Go
Um,
ahead. And here.
I'd be happy to do a breakout room with you and to,
It's a black
you know,
folder.
kind of
Is that what you
work
want?
on
Then stop.
brainstorming with you with,
All right, go ahead and color. Do your thing now. Good.
okay, Fernanda, it's the same project. And I'm looking for this project possibly done maybe Wednesday. Let's see, I'm going to check in with you guys. Remember, we have Monday off from
Oh,
school.
good. All right.
So I'll check in with you on Wednesday
Nothing, right?
or Tuesday, see where we are and make a judgment as to whether we should finish up Wednesday or Thursday of next week.
Huh?
I don't think I'm going to push it much further than
Oh,
Thursday of
that's
next
so
week.
neat.
Okay? So,
Okay.
anybody have any questions?
Stop what? Why?
All right, just one thing I wanted to show you all is that, so you've seen this before, my collage. I started gluing stuff down. I have all my foreground stuff that I'm going to use, but I was worried about the background. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do with the background. So after looking up and seeing all the things that I just showed you, I'm going to use paper. So I'm just tearing paper and gluing it down. I'm going to cover the whole background, and then I'll go ahead and start adding those images that I pulled from the magazines onto that. I probably will go and buy another newspaper and get some other kind of headlines that I will put into this as well. So there's that, and I'll be working on that while we're here. We only have about not even 20 minutes left of class. So again, if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer or help brainstorm ideas of what we possibly can do. All right, I'm going to stop this for right now because